Hi, today is a perfect day for a dose of moonshine. But rather than get it through high-proof spirits, I'm going to offer Chandra Namaskar, which is the full moon flow from yoga. So today is Sunday, July 5th, 2020. It is the July full buck moon. And this year we get 13 full moons, which is kind of special. Every 2.5 years we get an extra full moon. So I want to, before I get into the actual movement and the practice of the full moon flow, I first want to give a little bit of context and talk about the symbology of the full moon, as well as the history of Chandra Namaskar, because I really feel like, the more you know why you're doing what you're doing, the more meaning it has. So my name is Pam. I am the program director, a yoga teacher and trainer for Evolutions Annapolis. I also work with Pranakriya's School of Yoga and Healing Arts, and I'm just really happy to offer this as especially the midpoint this year. It's a tough year, and I feel like it's another piece of technology basically to have in your back pocket for you to practice at home and to use especially the context that I mentioned. So first of all, the symbology of the full moon. Basically, the full moon represents reflection, release, and rejuvenation. So I think everyone understands or has seen the pull the moon has on the planet as well as on us, right? The moon affects the tides. It certainly affects us as in the animal world. Most sea turtles lay their eggs on the full moon. More babies are born on the full moon. Animals interact differently on the full moon, and a lot of humans act differently too, right? Emergency rooms have been overwhelmed with people kind of acting crazy. So it is this release that is, symbolic in the full moon, the release of eggs and our ability to sustain our species, as well as, the idea of releasing pent-up energy. So that the moon definitely has an impact on us in both obvious ways with the tides and maybe more subtle ways with how it affects our sleep patterns and our actions. We get edgy around a full moon. So if you think of the full moon, it has the moon, period, it has no light of its own. It relies on the sun to illuminate. And this is the idea of reflection. So the full moon represents this quality of reflection, self-reflection, releasing energies, as well as rejuvenation. And perhaps the release and the rejuvenation are around the fact that the lunar phase, when the moon reaches its full quality, there's a completion. And then it turns the corner to move into that lunar phase again. So it's this cyclical nature that, is really, it's a beautiful thing to embrace. So that's a little bit of the symbology around reflection, release, and rejuvenation. Now the history of Chandra Namaskar, this is really where it gets very interesting. Most people are more familiar with Surya Namaskar, which is the salute to the sun. It's practiced in many yoga classes, and both of these series are very new to yoga. They were both created in early to middle 20th century for Surya Namaskar, and then toward the late 20th century for Chandra Namaskar. The earliest written documentation that I could find was with Bihar Yoga School in India, and that was around 1969 for moon salutation. Now, the earliest documentation in America that I found was through Kripalu. So there were a few teachers, female teachers at Kripalu in the late 80s that really wanted to recognize the value of the moon. So which represents feminine qualities, and the moon is it's cooling and darker certainly than the sun. What they recognized at that time is yoga was created by men, technically skinny men living in caves. And there were a lot of women that were coming to practice yoga. So they wanted a softer, more feminine practice to offer for women's bodies and women's mentality. So that's kind of what their objective was. And what they recognized too is that this Chandra Namaskar, it kept evolving and changing over time. So I really recommend for you that as you practice this moon salutation, that you make it your own. You know, this is a suggestion, and there are many, many, progressions out there. But the theory behind it, the history is all the same. You know, it's a more cooling, more quiet, internal practice. Now, a little bit more in terms of the history, and this is the really fascinating part. The idea of looking to the moon for rejuvenation is not new at all. Now, stay with me on this because it might be a little bit, of a big concept to swallow in a short period of time, but there's an ancient text called the Shiva Samhita in yoga, and it refers to, it's about 500 to 700 years old, and it refers to the moon as a source of immortality. Now, when scholars, specifically David Gordon White, is a professor of religious studies in California, he is renowned for studying the ancient text. He recognized, he talks about how practitioners of Tantra Yoga believe that the sun was located in the solar plexus and in the belly. Now, this kind of makes sense, right? We metabolize food here. We certainly have our reproductive energies here to keep our species alive. There's a lot of fire and movement and action in our belly. He also noted that the ancient tantrics recognized the crown of the head as the moon. Now, the moon was thought to contain something called amrita or soma, and it was the divine nectar of immortality. So when their practices through yoga, this fiery practice that most of the male yogis started with was very important, right? It generated the start of the yogic process of transformation, of cleansing, started us off on the journey. But too much of this fiery practice led to aging, decay, and death. So in order to balance this out, they created techniques to help produce this soma, or this cooling action. So if you apply this esoteric sort of anatomy to today's hatha yoga practice, you could say that Surya Namaskar, the sun salute that most people are very familiar with, triggers the yogic process by heating our bodies up, right? And giving us this internal fire and passion to dive really deeply into the yogic process. Right? It's movement. Then Chandra Namaskar is more about a method for cooling the body, which can help us to replenish our vital energy. So these two balance each other out. And the yogic texts have long known that our body has both the heating and cooling energies, that yoga and pranayama can help bring both of these energies into balance. So that's what I offer, is that this, why you may consider adding Chandra Namaskar to your practice, is that it taps into your softer side. It helps to balance out these energies that we have in our body, especially riding with the universal energy, of the cyclical nature of the moon. It's especially beneficial when we're under stress, which this year has been fairly stressful for an entire planet. So as you practice, maybe contemplate this idea, of tapping into the qualities of the moon, that the quality of reflection, self, analysis of what's happening, as well as releasing old thought patterns and old habits and old ways of being. It's the only way we transform. And that's how we rejuvenate ourselves. Now, to enhance this practice, it's sometimes recommended to create like a womb-like, very cool and dark environment, to really kind of go inside. Another recommendation is that, of course, Surya Namaskar you do when the sun rises. And Chandra Namaskar might be a really nice practice when the sun is setting. So it helps to quiet the nervous system down, to prepare for a night of rest. Let the movement become a meditation. So I'll coach you through, and hopefully this will all land in a way that feels really natural to your body. And I do want to start with a thought from a Persian poet named Hafiz. He says, "Why not become the one who lives with a full moon in each eye? The one that is always saying with the sweet moon language what every other eye in the world is dying to hear." And with that, let's take a stand. Now the Chandra Namaskar starts long ways at one end of your mat. And typically you're going to be traveling side to side, whereas Surya Namaskar usually travels front to back, and you're short ways on your mat. So I'm going to suggest you start long ways, and I'm going to be on the right side of my mat, leading to the left. So first, let's find mountain pose. Spread your toes really wide, press down through your feet, and feel the ground underneath of you as you rise up. As you reach the crown of your head up, relaxing your shoulders. And on an inhale, stretch your arms out and up and overhead. If it feels okay, press your palms together. As you exhale, lateral flex to the left. So you're going toward the center of your mat. That's standing Ardha Chandrasana. As you inhale, come back up tall and exhale away from the center of your mat to the right. And then inhale, come back up tall. As you exhale, take a giant step to the left. This is star. So you're really big. You radiate out. And on turning the heels in, toes out, exhale into goddess or horse stance, bending both knees. Inhale, come back up tall. As you exhale, lower your arms, pivot your feet for triangle. Left toes turn out, right toes turn in. Reach forward with your left arm and tip over into Trikonasana, triangle. I'm going to try to roll the top hip and top shoulder back. On an inhale, rise into reverse triangle, left arm up, both legs straight and strong. And then as you exhale, windmill your arms around to either side of your left foot, lifting your right heel for high lunge. Let the left arm circle back behind you and up overhead into a twist, reaching the left arm forward. Keep breathing deeply as you land your left hand to the floor. Lower your back knee and rise into a knee down warrior, Anjaneyasana. As you exhale, soft landing of both hands. Now walk your fingers back and have a seat on your back heel, folding forward into Janu Shirsasana. Keep your breath steady and smooth. Pull forward into lunge where you started, lifting your back knee. Rotate your feet forward again so your feet are flat and parallel. Bend your left knee a lot and open the right arm up into a twist. As you exhale, come through center into wide angled fold for a moment. Empty your lungs and fold forward. Inhale, travel to the right, bending your right knee. Now everything goes in reverse. It's a mirror image here. The left arm opens into a twist. Turn to your right and pivot your feet into a high lunge. And as you mirror, you'll lower the back knee, walk back, have a seat on your back heel, fold forward over your front right leg, Janu Shirsasana. Pull forward into lunge. Keep the back knee down, arms forward and up into Anjaneyasana, the knee down warrior. As you exhale, soft landing of your hands, lift your back knee. Let the right arm circle back. So a lot of circles here. Right arm circles around, overhead at a high diagonal. It comes right back down to the floor as you lower your back heel. Feet are in the position for triangle. Left arm leads the way for reverse triangle. Come all the way up. Circle your arms. Right arm reaches high. And then into Trikonasana, triangle posture. Right arm forward and tip over to the opposite side. Roll your top hip and top shoulder open. As you inhale, come back up tall into star. Let your toes turn out. So it's a fair amount of pivoting of your feet. Bend your knees and your elbows into goddess. Come back up into star. It's a giant step to the left, so you end up on the other side of your mat. Big step, feet together. Woo, stand tall. As you exhale, half moon to the right, going toward the center of your mat. Inhale back up. Half moon to the left, away from the center of your mat. Inhale, center, and hands come to your heart. So that's half of one round. We'll go back the other way and keep repeating. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale to come back up tall. Exhale, away from the center to the left. Inhale, come center. Open into star. Giant step to the right. Spread and radiate out through your fingers, through your toes. Pivot your toes out. Bend your knees and elbows. Goddess. Keep breathing deeply. Inhale, back up into star. Turn your left toes in. Keep the right toes out for triangle. Reach out to the right and tip over. Remember, triangle, keep radiating out. Roll the top hip and top shoulder open. Reverse triangle, spread out through your arms. Push through your feet to rise. Keep the legs straight and strong. And then windmill around to lunge. Both hands land softly. Lift your back heel. Let the right arm keep circling. Out, back, behind, overhead, high diagonal. As you exhale the right hand down, lower your back knee. Anjaneyasana, knee down warrior. Lift and open. Soft landing of both hands. Walk back for head to knee pose. Now this one, you can stay high if it doesn't feel good, but if you can have a seat on your heel, sit on your heel and fold over your front knee. Come back up through lunge. Lift your back knee. Pivot your feet forward. Feet flat and parallel. Bend the right knee a lot. This is Skandasana, or a wide lunge. Right, left arm opens. Come through center and fold, forward bend. Travel to the left, everything in reverse now. Left hand on the floor, right arm opens. Twisted wide lunge. Bring your right hand down, turn to your left, pivoting your feet. Back into head to knee pose, lower the back knee. Walk back and bow over your front thigh. Again, if sitting on your heel doesn't feel good, keep your hips high. Come forward for Anjaneyasana. Bend your front knee, knee down warrior, arms out and up, open and breathe. Soft landing of both hands. Tuck your back toes under to lift the knee. Let the left arm circle back and around and up and overhead. Feel a long line of reaching. Land your left hand. Flatten out the right foot. For reverse triangle, right arm leads the way. Press out and up, straighten both legs. Big circle of the arms, left arm lifts. Back up tall for triangle. Reach your left arm forward and tip over. Top shoulder and top hip roll back. Press through your feet to lift you up and open for star. Toes turned out. Bend into cactus or a goddess. Elbows press back, knees press back. Rise back up into star. Now you come back where you started. Big step to the right, all the way together. Arms up. Half moon to the left, toward the center of your mat. Come back up. Half moon to the right. Inhale, center, and bring your hands to your heart. So that's one full flow. Let's go through it one more time. Press down strong through your feet. Remember, be the one with full moon in both eyes. Feel the reflection, the release, the rejuvenation. As you inhale, reach up, side bend to the left, and then inhale back up tall. Remember, in this standing half moon, both waistlines are long to the right. Inhale tall, giant step to the left for star. Stretch out, turn your toes out, exhale into goddess. Inhale back up into star. Exhale, arms open wide as you pivot your feet for triangle. Left arm forward, tip over. Feel the radiance in your triangle as well, super long spine. Come up into reverse triangle. Left arm reaches, straight, strong legs. Slow motion, cartwheel, swirl. Swirl of the arms, bending your front knee into high lunge. The left arm keeps swirling out, back, behind, overhead at a high diagonal. Land your hands, lower the back knee, arms forward up into knee down warrior. As you exhale, soft landing of both hands. Walk back into head to knee pose. Sit on the back heel if that works and fold. Rise again. Walk forward. Tuck the back toes to lift your knee. Turn your feet forward parallel to each other. into extended squat with a twist. You can leave this twist out if it doesn't feel good. Come through wide angled fold, pause in the middle. This is the halfway point fold. Bend your right knee a lot. Everything in reverse. Left arm opens, wide angled twist. Bring your hands down to the either side of the right foot as you pivot. Right arm circles back, behind, around, up, overhead, high diagonal, really long line. Soft landing of your hand. Lower the back knee. Rise into knee down warrior. And as you exhale, hands down. Walk back and bow over your front thigh. Come forward. Tuck the back toes, lower your back foot, windmill around and up into reverse triangle. Right arm reaches high, high, high. And then back out wide, reach right arm forward, tip over into Trikonasana. Come up into shining star, lift, toes out. As you exhale, into goddess. Big step, inhale up and to the left, side bend to the right. Inhale through center, side bend to the left. Inhale through center, hands to your heart. Nice. Last time, so we're halfway kind of through the full series. Inhale up, lateral flex to the right, both waistlines long. Inhale up, so it's more up and over rather than down to the left. Come up tall, big step out, star. Toes turn out, bend both knees, goddess. Inhale up, arms open for triangle, right toes forward, reach your right arm forward, 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 tip over, Trikonasana. Reverse triangle, rise out and up and open. Slow motion land of both hands to either side of your front foot. Lift your back heel. Right arm keeps going. Windmill around and up and overhead. High diagonal. Land your hand. Lower the back knee. Rise into knee down warrior. And as you exhale, hands down. Walk back, head to knee pose. Bow over your front thigh. Walk forward into lifting the back knee, turn toes forward, feet parallel, bend your right knee a lot, press the right knee open as you reach the left arm up if you like that twist. Come through center, forward fold, feet parallel, empty your lungs. Travel to the left, bend your left knee a lot, reverse and open. Hand comes down. Pivot around to the opposite side, lower your back knee, walk back and bow over your front thigh. Walk forward, sink into your lunge, rise into knee down warrior. And as you exhale, hands down, tuck the back toes, left arm keeps circling around and up and over. Land your left hand, flatten out your right foot, reverse triangle, right arm leads the way, all the way up, keep windmilling your arms, left arm high, high, high. And then into Trikonasana, open, reach forward, and tip over, right arm high. If it feels okay in your neck, look up, roll the top shoulder and hip open. Come back up tall into star, toes turn out. As you exhale, goddess, knees back, elbows back. Back up into star, giant step to the right where you started, up. Lateral flex to the left. Inhale through center, side bend, standing half moon to the right. Inhale center, exhale, hands to your heart. So can you be the one with full moon in both eyes? So I hope that helps to give some ideas for you to add to your practices at home, to have that cooling quality. It is actually nice if you have a really vigorous practice to maybe tack on 1 or 2 rounds. Again, make it your own. So if you want to modify it, absolutely do that. And become the one who lives with a full moon in each eye. The one that is always saying, with the sweet moon language, exactly what every other eye in this world is dying to hear. Namaste, my friends.